My husband's childhood friend came to the door and said she was pregnant. She hopes I will step aside to make way for them. I happily led her into the house. Don't worry about the pregnancy, I'll take care of my husband's child. 1. In the evening, I snuggled in my husband's arms, playing games. The doorbell suddenly rang. I frowned, wondering who it could be at this late hour. My husband resignedly got up to answer the door. I like small spaces, they are cozy. So I live in a serviced apartment. One shot all the way. The door opened, and a beautiful girl appeared. Jinghao, long time no see, don't you recognize me? It's me, Meng Meng. My husband obviously froze for a moment and chuckled awkwardly. How could he remember? He is not the real Gu Jinghao. The real Gu Jinghao died 10 years ago, when he saved someone. It is only because he had a bond with his husband during his lifetime that I am fulfilling his last wish. Using his identity to support his parents in their old age. Meng Meng casually squeezed into the room while talking. Seeing me sitting on the lazy sofa in my pajamas, she was obviously taken aback. This is my wife. I politely smiled at her. Upon hearing this, the smile on her face clearly froze. But this was only a fleeting moment. You got married and didn't even inform me. She complained, lightly punching her husband on the chest with her small fist. Ah, you've developed a chest over the years. With that, Meng Meng directly reached out to pull at my husband's shirt. But was swatted away by my husband. This little trick. It's just to make me feel like they are the closest people. And I am just an outsider. Sister. Meng Meng, don't mind me, Jinghao never sees me as a girl. She explained with a smile, but the provocation in her eyes was unmistakable. If Jinghao bullies you in the future, come to your sister, and he'll help you fight back. With that, she climbed onto my husband's shoulder again. Because she is short, she is almost leaning on his shoulder. I chuckled coldly in my heart, and raised an eyebrow at my husband. What brings you here so late? My husband subtly pushed the person hanging on him away. I just got here and don't have a place to stay yet. Her eyes turned to the only bed in the room. There are quite a few hotels nearby. My husband directly showcased his ironclad masculinity. As a young woman, it's very dangerous to be alone in a hotel at night. She said, lowering her head slightly with a hint of grievance. What does Miss Meng mean? I am in a good mood and willing to play with her. I grew up with Jinghao. So why don't I squeeze in with you? As she said this, she directly placed her luggage on the bed. She really isn't being polite at all. My husband's territorial awareness is very strong. Looking at the luggage she threw on the bed. There was a green light flashing in her eyes. I was so scared that I quickly pulled him out the door. The first rule of the monster law states that one cannot harm humans. All right, tonight this room will be yours, and we will go stay at a hotel. 2. As soon as we arrived at the hotel room, I coaxed my husband to go take a shower first. At that moment, his phone lit up. There are no secrets between us. I naturally opened his WeChat. It was a friend request. I took a glance, and the profile picture was Meng Meng herself. The sexy selfie made one's imagination run wild. I set the phone aside and did not accept the request. But less than a minute later, she sent another request. I frowned and accepted the friend request. Jinghao, where is your bath towel? Next is a short video. Open the video. It seems to casually capture the layout of the bathroom, but her smooth, fair back keeps swaying in the mirror. Even I, as a fox spirit, feel inferior. Unfortunately, her methods are still a bit clumsy. If the two of us, old monsters with a combined age of thousands of years, can't see through it, then we really have lived in vain. I don't have a bath towel at home, I just use a hairdryer to dry off. What I said isn't a lie after all, one is a nine-tailed fox and the other is a land wolf, and we have fur all over our bodies. Using a hairdryer to dry off isn't too much, right? After a while, she sent another photo. It is the unwashed clothes thrown into the laundry basket. Jinghao, my sister works very hard usually, you as a man should bear more. I smiled. Quickly replied. Well, doing the laundry is originally my task. Wow, my sister has so many skincare products, but many of these functions are redundant. Is that so? They are all prepared by me for her. We chatted a bit more. In short, she pretended to think of me, but in reality, she was just trying to undermine me. She said I am both lazy and extravagant. My husband came out, after taking a shower, and saw me using his phone. She stretched her neck over. Is this woman out of her mind? He frowned and reached out to delete the friend. Why delete it? It's fun to have something to laugh at when bored. I snatched the phone away, and hid it under the pillow. Aren't you jealous? How insecure do I have to be to feel jealous? My husband pulled me into his arms, sweet-talking me, and sometimes I wonder. It's been said for 1,000 years, why is this man still so clingy? 3. The next day is the wedding of Ji Jinghao's childhood friend Ju Man and Shu Ting. Shu Ting called early in the morning, hoping we could take Meng Meng with us. She is best friends with Meng Meng, so it's not surprising that she knows Meng Meng is with us. We exchanged glances, and I responded first. Sister, your makeup skills are really good. Unlike my sister, who is clumsy and just put on some lipstick before heading out. I glanced at Meng Meng in the rearview mirror. Well, if you highlight any brighter, you might as well rival Sun Wukong's fiery eyes. My wife is naturally beautiful and doesn't need makeup. The car happened to hit a red light. My husband looked at me gently and placed a kiss on my face. It's easy to imagine how bad Meng Meng's expression looks in the back seat. You men don't understand anything. If you get your eyebrows tattooed and your eyelashes done in advance, you can look beautiful even without makeup. Meng Meng retorted with a smile and then asked me, Sister, where did you get your eyelashes done? They look so natural. And your eyebrows, where did you get them tattooed? I want to get one done too. I was completely astonished. You can actually get eyelashes done. Does getting your eyebrows tattooed hurt? My husband held back his laughter, squeezed my hand gently. It felt a bit itchy. She smiled somewhat awkwardly and quickly changed the subject. You two are an old married couple, still holding hands while driving. Have you considered the feelings of a single dog like me? If you know you're a single dog, then go find one. My husband replied indifferently. She looked at my husband with a mournful expression. You said that if I'm still unmarried by 30, you would marry me. Now look. You've early stepped into the grave of love. Are you planning to divorce at 30 and then marry me? She pretended to be open and outspoken, teasing in front of me. If I were to take offense, it would seem unreasonable on my part. But she was just constantly testing my husband's limits. My husband looked at me affectionately. The word divorce does not exist in my dictionary. 4. She said it so straightforwardly. I thought she would back down. Unexpectedly, after getting out of the car, she jogged a couple of steps and directly linked her arm with her husband's. She didn't feel that there was anything wrong with her behavior at all. What are you doing? Her husband's voice suddenly turned cold. He directly pulled his arm away, as if he had been entangled by something dirty. She was caught off guard, staring with her innocent big eyes. She complained, I only know you here. While speaking, she lowered her head and carefully tugged at her husband's clothing. Whoever passed by couldn't help but sigh, what a fortunate romance. Don't you know the bride and groom? Her husband was so angry that his face turned green. Ignoring her, he took my hand and walked into the hall. Jinghao, come quickly. When Ju Man saw us come in, she hurriedly called us to take a group photo together. Shu Ting glanced at me, her eyes full of hostility. Meng Meng, come on, together. She waved at Meng Meng behind us. Just as the photographer pressed the shutter, Shu Ting was quick to act. She pushed Meng Meng a little. Thus, the atmosphere became strange. In front of the bride and groom, my husband had one arm around me and held my hand with the other. On his other side, Meng Meng leaned against his back. The photo was taken with a Polaroid and was quickly developed. Shu Ting smiled and handed the photo to me. Her eyes were full of provocation. My husband's furrowed brows had not relaxed at all. Reaching out to take the photo, I directly threw it into the trash can beside me. In an instant, everyone's expression changed. Husband, Jinghao actually did this for that woman, to us, his friends for many years. Shu Ting was wearing a wedding dress, on the verge of tears. Her appearance was endearing. Ting Ting, you indeed did something wrong in this matter. No matter how much you are upset, he is already married now. Ju Man quietly reasoned. Although I had already been pulled away by my husband, I still heard it clearly. In my heart, I affirmed Ju Man's character a bit more. However, the rift between Shu Ting and me is probably deeper. After all, what women want is not reason, but unconditional favoritism. 5. There are table cards set up on the dining table in the hotel. We quickly found our seats and sat down. Unfortunately, Meng Meng is at the same table as us. As if nothing had happened before. She confidently sat on the other side of my husband. My husband frowned, and I gently hooked his finger, indicating him not to act impulsively. Regardless, Ju Man's feelings for Shu Ting are genuine. He definitely wouldn't want to see any accidents happen at the wedding he meticulously prepared. Husband lowered his gaze to hide his displeasure and turned to leave the table. Our childhood friendship is not something you, a latecomer, can compare to. In this game, you are bound to lose. Seeing that her husband had walked away, Meng Meng finally revealed her true colors. I stared at her like a fool. I don't know where she got this confidence from. Even the former Jiyu Jinghao had no affection for her, let alone the current Earth Wolf. Oh? Is that so? Then good luck to you. I raised my glass with a smile and drank the beverage in one go. My husband took a long time to come back. Ju Man kept smiling apologetically. He probably felt frustrated and went to vent with his brothers. But he is quite emotionally intelligent when it comes to the people he cares about. I'm not afraid of him offending his friends. The banquet began, and my husband diligently served me dishes. Here's the chicken you love, give it a try. Don't just eat meat. Try this shrimp, I've already peeled it. I know you don't like vegetables, but this dish is a side in the chicken soup. All flavored with chicken broth. My husband occasionally feeds me. I only shove a few chopsticks of vegetables into my mouth when I'm chewing. Jinghao, I remember you love to eat braised pork the most. Meng Meng said as she picked up meat and placed it into her husband's bowl. I'm on a diet. Her husband said coldly, subtly moving his bowl away, to prevent her from putting meat into his bowl. Meng Meng didn't know how to place her hand holding the meat. She awkwardly placed the meat back into her own bowl. Jinghao, don't just focus on serving your sister vegetables. Your sister is almost spoiled to the point of being unable to take care of herself. She glanced at me as she spoke, full of jealousy. I grinned and raised an eyebrow at her. I spoil my wife, why do you care? I could clearly feel that my husband was on the verge of exploding. This woman simply does not read people's expressions at all. After a while, she turned her gaze to the soup that my husband had just served. Is this soup good? Let me try. She said this without waiting for my husband to respond. She scooped a spoonful of soup from the bowl using my husband's spoon. My husband and I were both stunned. Why don't you try making a bowl yourself? Do you have to use my husband's utensils? Sister, don't get me wrong. Jinghao and I are good brothers, childhood friends, and we often shared the same ice cream when we were young. If she could hide the provocation in her eyes, I might pretend to believe her. Waiter. My husband called out with a dark face. Help me change the utensils. They are dirty. listening to my husband's words that showed no consideration for others. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. As for Meng Meng, her eyes were filled with sorrow, as if her husband was truly a heartless man. 6. I waited until the bride and groom came to toast. Brother How? If you hadn't brought your wife today, I wouldn't have known you were getting married, and that would be a penalty. Shu Ting said as she poured a full glass of red wine for her husband. I was startled. My husband is a dire wolf with a violent temperament. On ordinary days, I can still coax him. But once he has alcohol, he can't control his demonic nature. Dealing with him takes a lot of my energy. I never let him drink alcohol. My husband is allergic to alcohol, and as a couple, we are one. I'll drink this glass for him. I smiled as I took the wine glass and drank it all in one go. Shu Ting let out a cold snort, and after being subtly pulled by Ju Man, she finally closed her mouth. After a while, she finally said, "The four of us grew up together, and I once thought Meng Meng would marry Hao Ji. Unfortunately, the feelings were deep but the fate was shallow." She smiled on the surface, speaking softly and gently. But it was quite irritating to others. I never had deep feelings for her. My husband corrected her, lacking any romantic understanding. Meng Meng's face turned pale, pretending she hadn't heard. Shu Ting choked and glared at me fiercely. I shrugged and said, "Why are you looking at me? My mouth isn't on me. A person should be romantic in their youth. How Ji, what's there to deny? Can't the younger sister get angry?" She smiled innocently, but her eyes were full of schemes. I finally witnessed what it means for things to gather by their kind and people to associate with their group. Shu Ting and Meng Meng are two of a kind. Yeah, there's nothing to deny, so I never liked her at all. Perhaps out of consideration for our childhood friendship, my husband's tone remained relatively calm. But it directly pierced Meng Meng's heart. She said nothing and silently shed tears. The atmosphere became somewhat eerie. "Sister, please don't cry. Today is a wonderful day for Sister Ting. The old man says that crying brings bad luck." I imitated her tone and provoked. Sure enough, upon hearing this, both Ju Man and Shu Ting looked somewhat displeased. Meng Meng glared at me with resentment. I just enjoy her expression of discontent towards me, yet being unable to do anything about it. Ju Man didn't want things to get too ugly, so he quickly signaled the groomsmen and bridesmaids to pour us some drinks. On this joyous day, I toast to you both as a couple. Seeing that it was a drink, we both gave him some face. But why does this drink feel more intoxicating than alcohol? Not. This is not drunkenness, it's dizziness. Before I could think it through, my body softened, and I lost consciousness. 7. The monster. It was the first time I realized that a man's voice could be so sharp. In the hotel room, a man with a face full of flesh was desperately trying to run out. Perhaps too nervous, he struggled for a long time, but still couldn't open the door. I looked at him with amusement. With such little courage, he still dared to come out and do bad things. "Come on, who lent you the courage?" I spoke softly, walking barefoot towards him. In the mirror, my golden wavy hair revealed a pair of furry ears. Behind me, my 9 fluffy tails resembled the character Deji from the game. You, don't come over." The man wished he could burrow into the wall. I stopped in my tracks. "I didn't do anything, please let me go," he cried, tears streaming down his face. From his broken words, I learned that Shu Ting had hired him. He originally planned to blackmail me with an inappropriate video. I didn't expect that after drinking, I revealed my ears and tail. He was so scared that he just wanted to escape. What a brainless woman. Actually helping her best friend do such a thing. Just then, my phone notification went off. It was a WeChat photo sent by my husband. I zoomed in to take a look. It was a selfie of Meng Meng with her shoulder exposed. The background was actually my husband, bare-chested and asleep. Although I know this was most likely taken while my husband was unconscious. But I got angry. The consequences are serious. Hey, Master Uni, I am Liu Xia, the nine-tailed fox from Qingqiu. I am going to take revenge on humans. Hereby applying. Master Uni holds the highest position among humans, and is the new executor of the monster law. I reported the whole situation to Master Uni. Half an hour later, the phone rang. Liu Xia, I am Meng Po. After verification, as long as it does not harm human life, all your counterattacks against Meng Meng are considered justifiable self-defense. Perfect. My review has been approved. Next. Let's see how I counterattack. 8. Are you going to turn yourself in, or should I report it? At this moment, my drunkenness has worn off. I twisted my waist, and my ears and tail disappeared into thin air. The ugly man was momentarily dazed before he regained his senses. I'm going to turn myself in. I'm going to turn myself in. After saying that, he stumbled out the door. I wouldn't worry at all about him revealing my identity as a monster. After all, in this world, people believe in science. If he dares to say anything, he would probably be sent to a mental hospital. Wife? Just as I stepped out the door, my husband, with green eyes, tightly embraced me. As if I could leave at any moment. Where is she? I disdainfully pushed him away. He smelled like that woman, it was unclean. He lowered his head in grievance, his grey wolf ears twitching. Although my husband's racial lineage is not as noble as mine, his innate talent and cultivation are beyond my comparison. Over the years, he has been able to maintain his human form very well. The last time I saw him show his ears was when his parents passed away. It is enough to see how terrible his mood is at this moment. Go wash up. I helplessly rubbed my forehead, he was clearly just a wolf dog. Why do you act like a little puppy in front of me? My husband hurried to the bathroom. Wait for him to come out. Can you imagine what a husky looks like when all its fur is shaved off? That's what my husband looks like. Wait until your fur grows back to show your true form. Until then, you need to keep looking human. My husband gave me a resentful glance again. After all, in the eyes of us monsters, humans are the ugliest creatures. After everything was tidied up, I went with him to the room where Meng Meng was. The room is quite tidy. I sniffed and found no ambiguous scent. The smile on my face became a bit more sincere. This woman did not gain any advantage. How do you plan to handle it? Using their own methods against them, of course. I said this while waving my hand in front of her. The most powerful skills of the fox tribe are charm and illusion techniques. And I only used charm on her. Within a day, she will be overflowing with charm. As for what she would do in this situation, it depends on her. After all, very few people can resist this temptation. After doing all this, I took my husband out of the hotel. 9. We didn't go back to the service department. We found it dirty since she had stayed there. So we returned to the villa in the western suburbs. When the nanny, Aunt Zhao, saw us return, she happily went out to buy groceries. It was Ji Jinghao who saved her daughter when she fell into the water back then. Therefore, Aunt Zhao has always regarded Ji Jinghao as a benefactor. Madam, today I made all your favorite chicken dishes. She beamed as she brought out a large feast of whole chickens. She did not let her daughter's leukemia affect the mood of the host family at all. Aunt Zhao, how is your daughter doing now? I asked. The loneliness in her eyes flashed by in an instant. She then smiled and said, the doctor said her condition is temporarily stable. This is still thanks to you, madam. She did not say the rest of her words. But I knew that without a family member's bone marrow transplant, it was likely. Aunt Zhao, we don't stay here often, so you don't need to worry about us. Spend more time with PRO. I will never treat those who are good to me poorly. Hearing this, Aunt Zhao didn't hold back with me either. She smiled and said she would go to see it after she finished tidying up. If you want to help, then go ahead. Watching Aunt Zhao's departing figure, I sighed. I didn't expect my husband to understand my thoughts so quickly. But Master Uni said that the life and death of mortals are determined by fate, and we cannot interfere. How could I not want to help, even if it means losing 100 years of cultivation? It's not a big deal for an old monster like me. But this concerns her next life, and I dare not. Silly, we can just help her find her biological parents. My husband rubbed my head and held me in his arms. Do you have any clues? My husband usually doesn't speak casually. By the time he speaks, he usually has some idea in his mind. My wife is just smart. He said this while rubbing my nose. Then her parents are Meng family. I was suddenly startled. Are you saying that she is with Meng Meng? My husband did not let me continue. He just nodded gently. That makes sense now. So what are you planning to do now? My husband thought for a moment. Humans believe in DNA. 10. So, I returned to the service department. I saw Meng Meng wearing my husband's shirt as soon as I entered the door. In her arms, she was holding the clothes my husband had changed out of and hadn't had time to wash. I felt a chill run down my spine. What kind of obsession does this woman have? Upon seeing me, she was clearly taken aback as well. What are you doing here? With my husband not around, her malice towards me was completely unmasked. This is my home. What about you? Why are you still here? I said this without paying her any mind and went straight to the bathroom. Looking at the mess on the floor, I couldn't help but sneer. Earlier, she complained about me not cleaning the room. Now, let's take a look at the bathroom she used. It's really dirty. Everyone has a different scent. For me, finding one of her hairs among the many is a piece of cake. To avoid raising her suspicions, I tidied up my things and packed them to take away. As for the items that carried her scent, I simply threw them in the trash. I've rented this place out. As I stepped out of the house, I paused. A kind reminder. The tenant will move in this afternoon. I entered the elevator before she could start cursing. He's just a clown. In the absence of outsiders, I used my magic and instantly stood in the villa. Just in time to catch Meng Meng sending a voice message to her husband. I quickly answered it. Jinghao. I said that what happened that day was an accident. I will act as if nothing happened. But it seems that my sister is still angry. The events of that day are a taboo for my husband. Now she keeps bringing it up to gain sympathy. What a foolish woman who is unaware of her own stupidity. Get lost. After saying that, my husband deleted her from WeChat. 11. 1 month later, it was my father-in-law's 50th birthday banquet. My husband and I were invited to attend. Unexpectedly, Meng Meng and her parents also came. The two families have been family friends for generations. It's just that in the past few years since I married my husband, the relationship between our two families has become much weaker. Today, Father Meng wore a stern face. Behind him were Mother Meng and Meng Meng. But they didn't seem to show any emotions. Father-in-law and mother-in-law happily approached to greet the three of them. I had to follow my husband over. As soon as he saw Meng Meng, my husband's disgust was completely unmasked. The two families exchanged pleasantries for quite a while. Finally, father-in-law noticed that this old friend's attitude was a bit strange. Old Meng, today is my birthday banquet. What does it mean for you to wear such a long face? Father-in-law was somewhat displeased. Unexpectedly, upon hearing this, Father Meng exploded directly. How can you still ask me why I have a long face? Why don't you ask your good son what good things he has done? His shout attracted the attention of all the guests present. My husband is indeed the son that my father-in-law is proud of. At a young age, he has already taken over the GU group. In just a few years, the GU group has reached new heights under his leadership. My father-in-law has great trust in my husband's character. Why don't you tell me what good things my son has done? Now, Meng's father has said such seemingly ambiguous words in front of everyone. Naturally, this has caused dissatisfaction from my father-in-law. Meng, you say it yourself. Uncle Jiu, I'm pregnant. It's Jinghao's. Meng's voice was not loud. Just enough for everyone in the room to hear. In an instant, the sound of a pin dropping could be heard throughout the venue. She lowered her head somewhat awkwardly. Yet a triumphant smile lingered at the corners of her mouth. Only by making a big deal out of it could she gain the most benefit. 12. Although Meng did have some faults in this matter, but now like this. Meng's mother stepped in at the right moment. The two children were childhood sweethearts if it weren't for. Moreover, the Jiu family has only one heir, and Jinghao has been married for several years, but... I let out a cold laugh. Isn't it just saying that I stole someone else's marriage, and can't even lay eggs? The faces of my in-laws instantly darkened. My husband and I have a child. But the baby is only 500 years old now and cannot transform. I originally planned to work hard myself and keep changing my form. When it was time to give birth, I would go to the orphanage to adopt one. But my husband found it troublesome. I'm also afraid that their urging will affect my mood. So I simply went to the hospital for a sperm activity test. After all, human and monster sperm are different. So his sperm deformity rate reached 100%. The diagnosis report indicated infertility. As a result, my in-laws treated me like a deity to help their son keep me. Now suddenly someone jumps out claiming to be pregnant with my husband's child. What a ridiculous joke of the world. Sister, I know what we are doing is wrong. But the child is innocent. You wouldn't want the child to be born without a father, would you? She cried like a pear blossom in the rain. Many people present were waiting to see my good show. After all, compared to my husband, my status is indeed a bit lower. Aside from being good-looking, I have no background. And what wealthy families lack the least is a vase. Although the Meng family is not as large and prosperous as the Jiu family, it is still a notable presence. In comparison, the answer is obvious. The expressions of my in-laws became even more unpleasant. 13. At this moment, Shu Ting stepped forward. She glanced at me, looking somewhat awkwardly at her in-laws. Uncle and aunt. This matter shouldn't be said by me. If you know it shouldn't be said, then don't say it. Husband turned dark-faced, and directly transformed into Gudui. But after so many years of affection, I still have to say something. Jinghao has been married for many years without children. The truth is that Liu Xie cannot bear children. As soon as these words were spoken, the room was in an uproar. Which wealthy family doesn't want more children for blessings and to inherit the throne? Ju Man clearly didn't expect his wife to publicly reveal such a private matter. He was stunned for a while before pulling her aside and quietly scolding. Did I say something wrong? Didn't you tell me this yourself? I couldn't help but shake my head upon hearing their conversation. Shu Ting is indeed righteous, but Meng might not be sincere towards her at all. Everyone looked at me with either pity or glee. I smiled sweetly. Oh? Congratulations. You can rest assured and take care of the pregnancy. I will take care of the child later. As I said this, I dialed the nanny's phone in front of everyone. Aunt Zhao, please arrange for someone to prepare a room. Miss Meng is coming to take care of her pregnancy. It might be President Gu's child, so be careful while taking care of her. What do you mean? The Meng family's expression darkened a bit more. I shrugged and raised my hands. Isn't that what Miss Meng said? I don't want the child to be born without a father. Then I guess I'll reluctantly take on the role of a good father. My husband couldn't help but laugh out loud. The child being born without a father has nothing to do with us. I don't want to suddenly have a good father for no reason. This statement directly defines the child's identity. He doesn't admit it. Miss Meng was so angry that she swayed her body and nearly fell. Old Gu. My daughter is carrying your family's golden grandson, aren't you going to say something? Father-in-law glared at me and gave me a glance. He looked at my husband with a complex expression. The Meng family's faces improved significantly. 14. Meng's behavior is inappropriate. Our GU family will never marry such a woman. With that one sentence, the Meng family's faces turned a few shades paler. All three looked at father-in-law in disbelief. It was as if they had seen a ghost. Old GU, you. Mr. Meng was so angry that he clutched his chest, breathing heavily. Actually, it is my son who is infertile. I want to ask you, my son is infertile, where did the child in your belly come from? Meng took a step back, and if it weren't for Meng's mother supporting her, she would have almost fallen to the ground. Impossible. Clearly. The words that followed were not spoken. She looked at Shu Ting as if seeking help. Ju Man watched the interaction between the two. Her eyes were filled with disappointment. Liu Xia took on this matter for Jing Hao's reputation. It is our GU family's fault towards Liu Xia. This matter was spoken out by the father-in-law himself. Everyone had no doubt about the authenticity of this matter. After all, which father would frame his son for the sake of his daughter-in-law? The way they looked at me has changed. How much the GU family values me, to be willing to put their son forward to support me. I am touched in my heart. If it was said that my in-laws' kindness to me was based on my husband's face. But from today's events, it can be seen. They genuinely like me from the bottom of their hearts. The shocking news left the three members of the Meng family dumbfounded. Gu Jinghao is infertile. Meng's father's face turned bright red. I know my old friend's temper well. He would never joke about such things. The only possibility is that this daughter. Thinking about how I put my old face on the line for my daughter. Didn't expect. Uncle Meng will know after seeing these. I smiled and added fuel to the fire. I stuffed a stack of paparazzi photos into Meng's father's arms. All of this happened after I used my charm on Meng. I originally thought her feelings for my husband were deep. Unexpectedly, when she discovered that all males would be attracted to her. She turned out to be so promiscuous. Wandering among those elite individuals. It makes sense, in a situation where they are evenly matched. A man obsessed with himself versus a man who does not love her, she would naturally choose the former. Only after the time has passed. Will there be no more suitors around her? She started shamelessly coming to find my husband again. Even when she discovered her own promiscuity, she caused a little life to emerge. She intended to use this to force me to step aside. 15. Uncle Meng, Aunt Meng, don't be sad. Meng is not your biological child. The entire venue gasped in shock. What day is it today? These bombshells keep coming one after another. Before I could explain, the police pushed the door open and entered. Who is Meng? You are suspected of a deliberate injury case from 10 years ago. Please come with us. Meng's mother grabbed the police officer's hand. Comrade police, are you sure you have the wrong person? I did not make a mistake. She is suspected of murdering her biological parent's daughter. Upon hearing this, Meng's mother collapsed to the ground. As early as a month ago, I had stolen Meng's mother's hair and sent it for DNA testing. The test results were as expected. Meng is indeed not a child of the Meng family. I visited the monsters who lived near the Meng family's old house 2 or 3 decades ago. Finally, I restored the events of that year. It turns out that after Meng's mother gave birth, Meng's father's career was on the rise. Meng's mother was also Meng's father's capable assistant. So the two of them decided to directly hand the child over to the nanny. The nanny had just given birth herself at that time. Under pressure for a living, she heartlessly left her child, who was not long past a month old, at home. Looking at the immense wealth of the Meng family, she made up her mind and directly swapped the two children. But she was unwilling to raise someone else's child. After hesitating for a long time, she threw the stolen child by the roadside. letting it fend for itself. Fortunately, the child was not destined to die, and Aunt Zhao happened to pass by. Her husband left early, not leaving behind a son or daughter. She felt a connection with this child. So she took her away and raised her, naming her Zhao Piao Piao. Back then, Aunt Zhao came to work for the Jiyu family. The Jiyu and Meng families had a good relationship and interacted frequently. One day, when Zhao Piao Piao came to find Aunt Zhao, she happened to be seen by Meng Meng. When Meng Meng saw Zhao Piao Piao for the first time, she was horrified to find that Zhao Piao Piao looked exactly like her mother. She recalled that over the years, everyone had said she didn't look like her dad or her mom. The seed of doubt was planted in her heart. After inquiring, she learned that Zhao Piao Piao was not Aunt Zhao's biological daughter. So she secretly collected a sample and sent it for testing. It was discovered that Zhao Piao Piao was actually her parents' biological daughter. To keep her position, she pushed Zhao Piao Piao into the river. Unfortunately, things did not go as planned. Just then, Jiyu Jinghao happened to pass by, acted bravely, and rescued Zhao Piao Piao from the water. But he was unable to get back to the shore himself. After resuscitation, Jiyu Jinghao was declared brain dead. Mr. and Mrs. Jiyu were unwilling to accept this fact. Hoping for a miracle to happen, they forcibly kept him in the hospital. They took meticulous care of his body. Seeing his parents like this, Jiyu Jinghao felt a deep pain in his heart. He thought of my husband. At first, my husband was seriously injured, unable to maintain his human form, and collapsed at his doorstep, barely alive. He was rescued by him, who thought of him as a stray dog. Once he recovered, he promised to help him fulfill 3 wishes that did not cross the line. Thus, he found his husband, only hoping that his husband could show filial piety in front of his parents. His husband readily agreed. Monsters wandering in the human world need to constantly change their identities. Now he can fulfill Jiyu Jinghao's filial piety, repay the kindness, and gain a human identity for free. Why not take advantage of it? 16. Are you really my biological parents? No matter why you didn't want Piao Piao before, I beg you, please save her. Before Meng's parents could come to their senses, Aunt Zhao rushed in and knelt in front of Meng's parents. I stepped forward to help Aunt Zhao up. Piao Piao was not abandoned by them, she was stolen and thrown away by a heartless nanny. What happened to the child? Although she hadn't raised Piao Piao over the years, blood is thicker than water, and Meng's mother's heart ached. It's all my fault for not taking good care of Piao Piao, now she has leukemia. Hearing this, Meng's mother staggered, but fortunately, Meng's father caught her. The 3 hurriedly left the banquet, only to bump into the police head-on. Yo, what day is it today? Police are coming in waves. Who is Xu Ting? Everyone's gaze turned to Xu Ting. If she hadn't rushed to help Meng earlier, probably no one would have noticed her. You are suspected of hiring someone to commit murder, come with us. I was taken aback and exchanged a glance with my husband. So much time has passed. I thought that person had deceived me. Didn't expect. Xu Ting's face turned pale with fear. She didn't expect that the person she hired would actually turn her in. Watching her follow the police like a puppet, I nestled in my husband's arms, feeling a bit sentimental. Good and evil will eventually be rewarded. The Skynet is vast and wide, yet nothing escapes it. 17. Life has returned to normal. Zhao Piao's bone marrow transplant was very successful. Aunt Zhao has educated her very well. Although she has recognized her roots, she does not forget Aunt Zhao's nurturing grace and brings Aunt Zhao back to live together. As for the original fake heiress Meng, during the interrogation, she directly implicated Xu Ting to reduce her sentence. She confided in her good friend Xu Ting when she discovered that she was not the biological daughter of the Meng family. After hearing this, Xu Ting instigated her, saying that only if Zhao Piao died could she be at ease. That's why she lost her mind and pushed someone into the river. Xu Ting, who had originally stubbornly refused to confess, was left in shock after receiving this news. She never expected that her best friend would stab her in the back. The Ju family would not allow a daughter-in-law like Shu Ting to tarnish their reputation. However, Ju Man's feelings for Shu Ting were genuine. He endured the pressure, only to receive Shu Ting's confession and acceptance of punishment. In disappointment, he divorced Shu Ting. To atone for Shu Ting and Meng Meng, Ju Man occasionally visited Zhao Piao in the hospital. As time went by, the two developed feelings for each other. Meng Meng was pregnant and waited until the child was born before serving her sentence. As for the child, it is a daughter. I personally sent her to the orphanage. I just hope she won't follow her mother's old path in the future. 18. In the service department. I snuggled in my husband's arms, playing games. A nine-tailed fox kept nudging into my arms. This is our son, a hybrid breed. My husband casually picked up our son and tossed him onto the carpet beside the bed. I'll disturb your mother while playing games, and tomorrow I'll throw you back to the mountain. Oh. The son suddenly found himself wrapped in a ball of white light. This is transformed. As the white light dissipated, a four-legged golden beast appeared on the ground. Tomorrow I'll throw you to your grandmother's house. The husband looked at the son on the ground with disdain. But you are infertile. I reminded him. Let's just treat it as if we found him. I nodded, feeling it made a lot of sense, and continued to play the game.